Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that you're ready for the next phase of cold email. And I don't think most people sending cold emails right now are ready for it either, because the game is changing extremely quickly. And what worked even 6 months ago is barely working right now. But the good news is that this doesn't have to be a death sentence for your outbound sales. You can be one of the few who sees this coming, adjusts early, and actually benefits from it. And if you're wondering why you should listen to me, I'm in the trenches of cold email every single day. We've sent multiple 7 figures of emails, and we're seeing exactly what's changing in real time, but more importantly, what's starting to work instead. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the 7 biggest shifts in cold email that I see coming so that you can keep your emails landing in the inbox and still get replies. All right, shift number 1 is simple. Reply rates are dropping. Check out these numbers. Back in 2019, about 8.5% of people would reply to cold emails. And by 2023, it dropped down to 7%. Then in 2024, it's down to 5.8%. And this is based off of Belkin's analyzing over 16.5 million emails. And now in 2025, it's around 5%. That's a 15% drop every year for 6 straight years in a row. And here's what really blew my mind. Belkin's found that every single month in 2024 was worse than the same month in 2023. Why is this happening? Well, pretty simple. Decision makers are just getting absolutely buried. We're talking, hundreds of emails every single day that they are getting, and spam filters are getting way smarter. And then everyone is starting to use things like ChatGPT to write all their emails, so now they sound the exact same. Here's the problem. If you're doing cold email the same way you did back in 2022, your results are quietly falling apart and you probably don't even realize yet. Because what worked 18 months ago is literally getting 15% worse results today. And I'm seeing agencies watching their book meetings dropped. I'm seeing clients getting frustrated and they have zero clue what actually changed. So what do I think is going to happen in 2026? Honestly, I think that 15% decline is just going to continue, if not get harder and harder. The math points to reply rates being around 4% by the end of next year. But here's what I really think is going to happen. There's going to be a massive gap between the best senders and the average senders. The top people, they're still going to be getting 15 to 25% reply rates. And the average people, they're going to be stuck at 1 to 4%. And the reason I think this is because 80% of the people are just going to give up when it gets too hard. They're going to quit because it's going to be too hard to get replies for their emails, which leaves massive opportunity for the 20% who actually figure out this new rule. It's exactly what happens when Google Ads gets more complicated, with SEO, with social media. When something gets hard, people bail. The smart ones stay and completely dominate because there's way less competition. So here's what you can do to crush it. Stop sending huge generic lists. Instead of getting a list of 10,000 SaaS founders, find people based off of trigger events or a specific job function and get a smaller list that you can be more relevant towards. And I mean really personal and really relevant. Also, make sure you're tracking your reply rates. That's gonna be most important. And just accept the fact that you need to send smarter emails, not just more emails. Again, the answer isn't blasting more, it's about getting precise. Shift number 2 is just less sends per inbox. The rules have completely changed in 2024 and 2025, but here's one thing. Most people are still following advice from 2022, and it's killing them, and it's killing their results with outbound. It used to be totally safe to send 200 emails per day from one inbox. Some people were even doing more than that. Now, you're looking at 30 emails per day, max per email. Maybe 50 if you're being really careful, but honestly, we're seeing around 30 being the actual safe number. February 2024, Gmail and Yahoo made these new bulk sender requirements and instantly has a whole guide explaining what changed. Basically, you need SPF, DKIM, and DMARC authentication, and you need your spam compliant rate to stay below a 0.1%. So then in May 2025, Microsoft joined in and did the same thing for Outlook. And right now, Profit Outreach put out research saying that you absolutely cannot send more than 30 to 50 emails per mailbox per day. The problem is if you're sending 100, 150, or 200 emails per inbox because some YouTube guru told you to do that back in 2022, you are actively destroying your sending reputation. And that means you're not going to get any responses, any replies, and ultimately grow your business. Because one bad week of high volume is going to crash your sender reputation, meaning all of your future emails are going to go straight to spam, which means you basically have to start completely over with brand new domains again. And most people only realize they have a problem when it's too late, when they're not getting any more replies. So what do I think is going to happen in 2026? Well, I think email providers are going to start giving you different daily limits based off of how much people actually engage with your emails. Like if people are reading your emails and replying, maybe you can get to send 50, 75, or even 100 per day. But if people are ignoring your emails and deleting them, you might get throttled way down to only 20 per day or even less. And the reason I think this is because Gmail already tracks all of this. They can see exactly how many people engage with your emails. They have all of the data they need sitting right there. And honestly, it solves their whole problem. Good senders can grow and scale. Bad senders get automatically blocked before they become an issue for their users. What you need to do in order to crush it is you've got to completely change your math. Instead of 10 inboxes sending, 100 emails every single day, which is super risky, you need something like 70 inboxes sending 30 emails. Same total volume, just way safer. And you can use Instantly's inbox rotation feature if you're on growth or hypergrowth plan, and you get unlimited email accounts. So use them, spread your volume across way more inboxes, and be safe. Another thing to make sure is that you're warming up your inboxes for 2 to 4 weeks before you send any real campaigns, and keep the warm up running forever. Do not turn it off. And Instantly has this built right in, so it's super, super easy. And they'll even test and make sure that it's being safe. The next shift that we're seeing are smaller lists are winning. The whole send to everyone strategy that I used to love is completely dead. Look at what the actual data shows us. Lists under 50 people are getting a 5.8% reply rate on average, and lists over 1,000 are getting less than 2%. That's almost 3 times worse when you send to the big lists. And this is after Hunter.io studied 11 million emails. And Digital Bloom, they also confirmed the same thing in their analysis. And here's why this is happening. Gmail is watching what happens when you send emails. Let's say you send 10,000 emails and you only get 200 replies back. Gmail's algorithm thinks, okay, people clearly don't want emails from this person. And then your future emails, they're gonna get filtered out automatically. But if you send 50 emails or less emails and get more replies, Gmail thinks, oh, people actually like emails from this person. Then your future emails land right in the primary inbox, which is where you want them. The problem I see with so many senders is they try to go for this huge volume for a short-term game. But every single time you blast 10,000 people with the same generic email, you're getting 3 times worse the results in the moment. And you're also training Gmail's algorithm that your emails basically suck, and that follows you around. Most people are just in this mindset of, we need to send 10,000 emails per week because that's what I'm promising my clients. But those 10,000 emails with a 2% reply rate could be significantly improved if we focus on quality over quantity. So what I think is gonna happen in 2026, well, I think Gmail is going to start tracking what they'll probably call list quality. So if you keep sending to these huge lists with low engagement, they're going to flag your entire domain as a bulk sender, and all of your emails are going to get filtered, and even the really good ones, to people who actually want to hear from you. And my guess is that the only way to stay in the inbox is going to be keeping your list smaller than maybe what you're used to, and optimizing for at least a 3 to 7% reply rate, maybe even higher. And the reason they do this is because it protects their users, which is literally their job. So here's what you need to do in order to crush. Build smaller campaigns that are more relevant rather than trying to go for the masses. Instead of a list of 100,000 SaaS founders, pull people based off of their job title. Instead of a list of 100,000 dentists, segment the list by relevance. That could be location, that could be a trigger event based off of the buying intent, that could be technology that they use, etc., etc. I would much rather have you build more campaigns with the list that you have spread out across those campaigns than one campaign that you're sending the same generic message to that you're gonna get, at the end of the day, less reply rates from the data. The next shift that we're seeing based off of data is that only 2 emails work. So everyone used to say, you need to send 7 follow-ups, or persistence is key, or whatever. Well, that advice when it comes to cold email is completely ruining campaigns. Belkins, they analyzed 49,000 email sequences, and here's what they found. They found that your first email only gets around, let's just call it 3% reply rates. You add 1 follow-up, you jump to 4.8%. That's a 60% boost, pretty good. You add a second follow-up, you boost to 5.8%. It's another 21%, still pretty solid. But then you add a third follow-up, your reply rate actually drops by 20%. It goes down. And if you add a fourth follow-up, it drops by another 55%. You're getting way worse results. And here's what's wild. In 2023, that third email used to help you, but in 2024, it started hurting you. And Digital Bloom confirmed this, that after 3 emails, reply rates decline because spam complaints and unsubscribes are going to increase. That is a direct quote from them. So here's the problem. You think that you're being professional and persistent by sending 5, 6, 7 follow-ups, but actually what you're doing is you're annoying people and you're getting way more spam complaints, and you're training Gmail's algorithm that you're basically a spammer, and you're getting fewer replies than if you just stop earlier, and basically you're damaging your ability to send any future campaigns. The old sales advice of fortune is in the follow-up is now the literal opposite of true when it comes to cold email. What I think is going to happen in 2026, well, I think Gmail is going to start actively penalizing people who just keep emailing someone who's clearly ignoring them. So like if someone ignores your first 2 emails, every future email you send to that person is automatically going to get pushed way down their inbox. Here's what you need to do in 2026. Send 2 emails maximum, then stop. Email number 1 is your best shot. And then email number 2, wait 3 or 4 days, send 1 follow-up with a different angle, not just a bumping this up, a completely different approach, then stop. No email 3, no email 4. Make those 2 emails actually count. If they don't respond to those 2 emails, try a totally different channel like LinkedIn, or wait 90 days and try with a brand new angle. Shift number 5 that we're seeing is the rise of AI slop. So AI was supposed to help you personalize emails at scale, but instead, what's actually happening is it's making everyone sound generic at scale. Here's the data. 63% of B2B marketers are now using AI to write their emails. In spam filters, they can actually detect AI writing now by looking at these specific patterns, like how you use your verbs, your sentence structures, how many pronouns you're using. And there's research from Sign Direct on this. And the result of all of this is that every single cold email starts basically the same way. I noticed you recently. I saw your post about, or congrats on, or I came across your profile. People can instantly tell it's a template. It feels fake. And what's worse is that spam filters can actually detect this stuff now. We are triggering spam filters when we do this, and we are losing trust with the prospects because they can tell it's not real. What do I think is going to happen in 2026? Well, I think Gmail is going to roll out an actual AI detection built right into their spam filters. Emails that score high for being AI generated are going to automatically get moved to the promotions tab or just filtered out completely. And here's the irony. Using AI to write your cold emails is actually going to make them less likely to land in the inbox. The thing that's supposed to help us might actually be hurting this. And why do I think this? Well, Google already has some of the best AI detection technology in the whole entire world, and they use it for their search quality, they use it for catching ad fraud, and they use it for everything. The research shows you can detect AI written text with over 90% accuracy. In Gmail, well, they can definitely do this too if they wanted. And as AI-generated spam becomes the majority of all spam, which it will, Gmail is going to need to filter it specifically. Plus, from a user experience standpoint, most people actually don't like, obviously, AI-generated cold emails. They feel super impersonal and spammy, so basically Gmail wins by filtering these out. Here's what you can do to crush it though. Use AI for your research part, not the writing part. Here's what I mean. Use AI to help find trigger events. Use AI to write personal lines or personal emails per person, not for the whole segment that you're reaching out to. Don't have it write the same email for 1,000 people. I like to use AI to maybe be a little bit more relevant, but I'm not going to use AI to write my whole email and make it sound robotic. So I'll actually just use Instantly's AI feature where I can come up with personalized lines or personalized emails that are actually relevant to what I'm selling in value based for the consumers right then and there inside of the tool. And then I can actually fact check it, make it sure it doesn't sound like a robot and it sounds human-like, and prompt it to be human-like, and I'll play around with that. All right, shift number 6 is going to be the rise of multi-channel. Cold email by itself as a standalone thing is getting tougher, but cold email as one part of a multi-channel strategy, that's where all the winners are right now. Look at these numbers. Email alone gets you around a 2.1% reply rate. That's what Hunter.io found, but email plus LinkedIn plus video, 280% higher engagement. Prospects are literally 8 times more likely to respond to you when you contact through them through 3 or more different channels. And that's from Profit Outreach research. And get this, only 5% of people are actually doing this right now. So why does this work better? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Decision makers are getting hundreds of cold emails every single day, and their email inbox is absolutely packed, and it's super easy to ignore just one email. But it's really hard to ignore the same person showing up in your email, then on LinkedIn, then sending you a personalized video. Like at that point, you're being a real human being, not just another text message in their inbox. And here's the problem that I see a lot of people making is the reality is you're fighting against 99 other emails sitting in the inboxes of your ideal customers. If you're just showing up in one single place, you're not going to have the success you would if you were showing up in 3 different ways. Let's just look at some basic math. You send 1,000 emails, you get 2% replies, that's 20 replies, but you send 500 emails plus LinkedIn plus video, you get 8% replies. That's 40 replies. You sent half the emails and got double the meetings. Plus, you're protecting your deliverability by sending way fewer emails in the first place, which is what we talked about before. So if you're still doing email only in 2026, you're literally leaving 75% of your potential results sitting on the table. What I think is going to happen in 26? Well, I think email only is probably going to drop to 1.5% reply rates as inboxes are going to get even more crowded. But multi-channel is going to become the absolute minimum standard. Like, everyone who's serious will be doing multi-channel approach and multi-channel outbound. And the best performers are going to be using multiple channels to get the top tier results. This is really simple math. Reply rates are dropping 15% every single year, but multi-channel isn't dropping at that same rate because only 5% people are actually doing it. There's way less people crowding it. So as email gets worse and worse, all the smart people are going to shift to multi-channel. And this creates basically two completely different groups. You've got the sophisticated multi-channel people getting 8 to 12% reply rates. You've got the lazy email only people who are getting stuck at 1 to 2% replies. That gap is going to keep growing and growing. So here's what you can do. Use your email as your foundation, not your whole strategy. And Instantly now you can set up triggers based off of events inside of Instantly to also trigger outbound from LinkedIn. Meaning if someone doesn't reply on your cold emails, then you can have it automatically send a connection request and then a message after that. You want to be thinking integration, not separation. So the more that we can integrate our channels, our outbound channels, the more success we're going to have. And the other thing that you should be testing out is sending Loom videos or personalized videos to these prospects based off of, again, trigger events. So high intent prospects, we should be leveraging video in order to do that, whether that's a Loom video, whether that's a personalized video. Obviously, based off of the data, is proven to be a really, really successful strategy in 2026 as we head that way. And last but not least, in shift number 7 is that AI is basically going to read all of our emails first. This one is huge, and most people are completely missing it. Your prospect isn't reading your emails first anymore. Their AI assistant is reading it and is going to start deciding whether it's even worth showing to them. Forrester put out their 2026 predictions, and they're saying that 20% of B2B sellers will be forced to engage in agent-led quote negotiations. That's a direct quote. They also found that 61% of companies are already using AI to help make purchasing decisions right now, today. And another report on B2B sales trends says that next year, your buyer may not be the one answering your call. It could be their AI agent. So before you reach a human decision maker, an AI could be the one filtering out your outreach, summarizing your offer, and comparing it to competitors. We think that we are sitting here writing for humans, and we're thinking about what a human wants to read, but an AI gatekeeper is going to start reading our emails first and deciding if a human should even see it. If the AI flags your email as generic sales stuff, one of 3 things is going to happen. It's going to get auto-deleted and never seen. It's going to get buried in some weekly summary of filtered emails where it's going to get lost in the noise, or it gets compared to 10 of your competitors, then you're going to lose because you are being generic. The AI doesn't care about your clever opening line, doesn't care about how friendly your tone is. It's literally just checking a few things. Do you have specific numbers in here? Is there clear, concrete value? Is this relevant to what they're actually doing right now? Is this sender actually legitimate, or are they spam? And most cold emails that people are sending today that I see would get auto-deleted by an AI that's trained to protect someone's time. So what do I think that's going to happen in 2026? Well, AI assistants are going to be in 20% of the company's inboxes by the end of 2026. But in tech companies and SaaS companies, I think it's going to be bigger and bigger, like 40 to 50% adoption. And here's what I think these AI assistants are actually going to do. They're going to create 2 lists, approved senders and block senders. If your first 2 or 3 emails get flagged as low value, all your future emails from your entire company are going to get auto-deleted before a human ever sees them. And the reason I think this is because Forrester is a massive research company, and they're literally putting their reputation on the line, predicting a 20% adoption of something like this. And the technology already exists right now. Tools like Harvey.ai and Lindy.ai are building exactly this type of thing. And 61% of companies already told researchers they're using AI for purchasing decisions. So the demand is clearly there. And for whitelist, blacklist ideas, just think about it logically. If you're in AI and your job is protecting your boss's time, and you see the same senders keep sending those same generic emails that never get any responses, why would you keep forwarding them to your boss? You wouldn't. You would just auto-delete them. It's the efficient solution, and it makes total sense. Here's what we need to do to crush it. We need to start thinking about how to write for machines first. And here's what I mean. And it kind of goes with what I've been saying. Like, a bad example that's going to get filtered is We help companies completely transform their sales process with innovative solutions that drive growth. Filtered, right? Bad. Good examples. We helped 3 SaaS companies, this company increased their demos booked from 4 per week to 12 per week in 30 days by fixing their domain authentication, setup, and inbox strategy, rotation, blah, 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 blah. Something more specific and relevant. And really at the end of the day, it kind of follows what I've been saying this whole time. It's going to be less is more. Relevancy wins. Multi-channel is going to be your go-to. Focus on messages that are going to actually increase your deliverability, and you should have success passing something like an AI agent that's going to be reviewing your emails before they even get to the decision maker's inbox. I mean, I'm already seeing the AI work for me inside of my inbox, and it's giving me a summary so I can decide right then and there. And it's only going to get better and better. At the end of the day, cold email is not dying, but the old way of doing it is going to completely die out. The people that are going to lose in 2026 are the ones still doing what worked back in 2022. The bar is higher now, which means few people are going to clear it. And that means if you actually adapt to these new rules, you're going to absolutely crush it while everyone else is just sitting there watching their campaigns mysteriously die and have no idea what is happening. That's exactly how cold email is changing. But you can click on this video on the screen to learn exactly what to do this year to win everything from structuring your offer, how big your lead lists need to be, and the technical setup you need to get into the inbox. I'll see you over there.